why Hololive is the best VTuber agency, and we already know take one.
I originally wanted this video to be titled The Absolute State of Hololive, and it's basically going to be formatted the same way the Absolute State of VShoujo or the Absolute State of Nijisanji goes, mostly leaning towards the VShoujo video, where I break down the problems that Hololive has and why and how it hinders them, how different general demographics perceive them both negatively and positively, broadly going to cover over their flaws. However, the more I went and wrote my script, the more I began to compare them with other VTuber agencies, trying to find things that other VTuber agencies do better than Hololive, such as in VShoujo where the talents do keep the IP. But the more I did that, the more I realized that there is not much things a lot of VTuber agencies do better than Hololive aside from some perks that VShoujo gives and percentage cuts. The general criticism, while some is exacerbated in Hololive due to its own environment, is something that applies to most other agencies as well. Unicorns, parasocialism, certain parts of idol culture, Yuri bait, Yaoi bait, GFE, BFE, these are all industry-wide. Granted, I have not seen their contracts or know about their inner workings. We've seen the Nijisanji contract and we know how bad it is, and Hololive could have similar issues. Their contract might only just be slightly better than Niji's. They might even have a contract for people that they terminate. Behind the scenes, they could have their own favoritism, their own internal issues here and there that makes talents upset and sad. That has happened before, and it still keeps happening, I would actually argue. Not just to Hololive, but other agencies as well. And if I can't find a problem that's exclusive to Hololive or is greatly worse in the company, if I can't find a problem in Hololive that's inherently unique to them, that's rooted in their business model and their mode of operation, then what can I say about Hololive that isn't already being said or isn't already internalized by the fanbase? Really, the only people that is none too pleased about Hololive's business model is the goddamn investors that want to make more money and squeeze more cents from the fanbase and the talents. Really, the problem that Hololive has are problems that every agency has in their own ways. The more I thought about it, the absolute state of Hololive is the absolute state of the VTuber industry. Even to this day, the industry still follows their example, and some thankfully innovating and improving on the precedents they set, but in terms of what they can give to their talents, the sheer amount of support and community involvement, professionalism, and managerial capabilities, overall, Hololive is still the top VTuber agency whose leadership and position remains unchallenged in the industry. And that became the direction of the script of the absolute state of Hololive video. But at that point, I was just essentially sucking on Hololive's cock while complaining about the hairs getting stuck in my teeth. That's a bad figure of speech. I'm still working on my wordplay, okay? Point is, the whole script was just me praising the company while nitpicking and expanding on problems that people already know, and again, problems that are not unique or infinitely worse in Hololive. And at that point, it was no longer an absolute state video. So, I decided to make an entirely new script. And the thesis of that script is the title of the video that you're watching right now. This is a video explaining how Hololive wins by doing absolutely nothing. Or at least, that's what a lot of fans say, because it's a very common trend, not just in this industry, but even in other places like video games, where a timeless classic just sits in there and still pulls in good numbers, while spiritual future successors of their genre try and hilariously fail to one-up them. Back 4 Blood to Left 4 Dead 2, Overwatch 2 to Team Fortress 2, among other examples. But while that thesis statement sounds badass regardless of its context or whatever the topic is, the fact of the matter is, it's not actually true. The company does a lot of smart and hard work behind the scenes to make everything happen. Of course, I think most people who pass on this phrase knows this, but I just wanted to say that for the people who genuinely think so. It's just that many VTuber agencies collapse while Hololive is doing relatively okay. I want to enumerate. Collapse while Hololive
Yeah, it's only March. That's the crazy part, bro. It's only March.
is doing relatively okay.
It's only March, bro.
On a few key points on how Hololive achieves
Holy
this, because,
shit.
like what I've said in prior videos, Hololive did not start this way. They started their first gen with a termination. Their management was exploitative and took advantage of some talents. Their management made decisions and mistakes that absolutely fucked over their talents' careers and genuinely upset them. They were the center of a very disastrous PR situation that not only spelled bad for their internal environment, but also to the reputation and trust the fanbase had for the company. Yes, there was more than one time where the fans turned their backs on the company, where even I turned my back on them. However, they have taken steps to grow beyond that, letting the mistakes shape a better environment instead of letting it fester. Their disasters usually were patched up within a year of their happening, and change and improvement seems to be relatively fast for their scale.
That's good.
That is because of reason 1, feedback and improvement. Cover Corp seems to know how volatile and terrible loud and upset fanbase can get. They do care about their investors and shareholders and the people that they have to answer to business-wise, but first and foremost, they care about the fans and talents. Of course, this does not necessarily apply all the time because as a company, Cover Corp has to make money as their primary directive and make decisions that their talents and fan base may disagree with, how heavily and emotional it might get. It happens to all companies, but Cover Corp takes that one extra step to make up for the parties that get involved, such as the case recently, when there were massive complaints of the Fifth Fest foods getting delayed, and people were getting rowdy and upset over it on social media. Normally, a problem like this in any other convention gets fixed in the next year, if it even gets fixed at all. However, they managed to fix it literally on the next day.
That's ridiculous. Like, I know I've heard a lot about these VTuber convention things. Like, a lot of them literally do suck. And like, but it's all we got. So like, yeah, it fucking sucks. Maybe it's better next year. But I feel like, bro, if you got a 3 to 5 day convention and someone's like, hey, the food sucks, like, bro, there's no way you can just call in like, hey, and like get it solved the next day at least. What?
Day. Another case was when the Hololive summer event of 2023 got issues due to the streaming platform failing on them. They literally make day 1 free. It was a problem that was primarily the fault of the streaming platform, yet Cover Corp was the one who made up for it for the community's sake. A decision that I don't think any other company would do because it would result in some big financial losses. Again, they are far from perfect. There are some things they do, even to this day, that I fundamentally disagree with, but the one thing that I can count on is the fact that they'll always do right by their community, even if it is something that is a financial loss for them. That's also the crux of the second reason: content over profit and risky innovations and investment. Using the second example I gave you guys earlier, where they made day 1 of Hololive Summer free, I want to emphasize that this action, this prioritization of content and fun, was not a one-off decision that Cover Corp made. This is a behavior from them that has been consistent for a while now. See, not many VTuber agencies like to take too big of a risk or hefty investments. Understandably so, because not many agencies are in a position or have the privilege to be able to do so. But Cover Corp can and have. Almost a year ago, they announced a $20 million mocap studio that took a year and a half to create. This would not just allow Hololive to make 3D performances smoother, much more convenient, and generally better. This would even allow other corporations or companies to be able to utilize the studio as well. Because back in the past, 3D performances were a mess, with some members sharing stories about how 3D recordings were sometimes inconvenient. This is not your regular mocap studio, by the way. This is one of the biggest mocap studios in Japan, bigger than 10 tennis courts combined.
This is
they are also heavily investing into
investment.
Expansion.
That is a
proper
big
expansion,
ass investment.
by opening up shop and setting up a Cover Corp USA subsidiary, a move that no other VTuber agency has even begun doing. There's also Hololive and Hololive Alternative, a game and a metaverse project, which, although we've only seen trailers for, we don't have anything substantial aside from Hollow-Earth's bare bones beta. Still, I think the fact that they are expanding and taking risks like this, even if it might fail, is ultimately a good thing, because it means that the company has a vision beyond VTubing. Content creation and influencers, you see, have a very limited lifespan. It's really only a matter of the algorithm stopping itself from promoting certain content creators to take down entire careers. Cover Corp has a vision of becoming, in Yago's words, an entity like Disney. The fact that Yago has a grander vision for Hololive's direction, of whose success is yet to determine, is already better than most VTuber agencies. You ask most VTuber CEOs' vision, and they probably won't be able to tell you where they are and where their company will be 5 years from now.
That's fucking crazy. How you a CEO and you don't know where your company's gonna be in the next 5 years?
It is what makes Hololive special.
What the fuck?
It is part of how they consistently stay on top of the game. But going back on the whole behavior where they prioritize quality over profits and short-term gain, an instance of this is the Q&A interview with their shareholders, who kinda wants more money to the detriment of the staff and talents, to which Yago quite literally said that those people are much more important, and it seems like so far he's keeping true to this statement. Of course, this behavior don't just apply in big and grand events where they have to answer to a certain authority, it can also be seen in smaller things like Fuamoko. As a concept of having two members share one account, Fuamoko is not supposed to be profitable, because it makes more sense for the two to be separated. That way, they can separately earn money from fans and the company would have two more revenue streams they can take instead of one. The fact that they've even allowed this to happen means that they have an open mind when it comes to content. They are willing to explore and take on new ideas, even if it comes with the cost of potentially cutting one or two more revenue sources. That being said, the underlying motive in all of these decisions is good PR, which it's working. However, again, since CoverCorp is a company, their bottom line is to get as much money as they can. But CoverCorp so far has provided a great and enviable balance of trying to get as much money as they can whilst at the same time providing care and treatment of their talents, staff, and the people they outsource. Not just to the talents within their home base, but even to the talents outside Japan. Even if those members face inconvenient and seemingly unfair circumstances, like having their flights not be paid for at times or 3D live perms being difficult to pursue. CoverCorp, despite literally being a smaller company and has fewer talents, still has more staff, more projects, more facilities, and thus has more maintenance costs and people to pay. But despite that, their revenue is almost going toe-to-toe with Nijisanji, the biggest VTuber agency in the world with infinitely less management, projects, investments, facilities, and maintenance costs, despite Nijisanji being literally made to profit max. At a certain point, they should be losing more money than earning it, but they're not. Your super chats, donations, and financial support for Hololive and Cover is not wasted. You can actually see where your money is going. You can actually see amenities and projects being made. Supporting Hololive means supporting the talents in more ways than just financially. But we are not even done yet. Reason number 4 is their interesting way to maintain community trust despite of drama, negative connotations, and absolute seething. See, here's the thing. You bet your ass CoverCorp has made some enemies in the shape of their former talents or former employees or even some business partners. Perhaps said figures signed something that prevents them from speaking out against the company. Some forms of drama and misfortune look weird and sus on Hololive's part as a company as well, such as the pseudo-graduation termination thing that happened regarding Magni and Vesper's departure. But regardless of that, they still look good. What I am trying to say is that they have this way to quell outrage or make themselves generally look good. The company is quite professional from the outside looking in despite the drama around it. Essentially, they have excellent PR. The talents, even if they might not agree with each other behind the scenes or even their managers, are at the very least cordial with each other, even if some female talents are averse to males for obvious reasons. And generally speaking, they know how to make their talents not misbehave or say something stupefyingly cancelable on any of their social media. This creates this air of professionalism and sanitation to their brand and presence. However, at times it can appear as if they're too clean, too perfect, boring and bland to many people who wish to see genuine, unfiltered chaos, but
just put Kiara in a room with deerskin and bro, you're gonna have a rated R superstar, baby.
Despite those feelings, however valid it may be, it's worked on having them avoid issues or be involved in drama that plague Twitter all the time. Their political opinions, their hard stances on matters that they may or may not fully understand, that'll ruffle a few fellow VTubers' feathers or turn away some sponsors or upset some fan bases. Those are not aired out. In general, they are a safe space for people who genuinely want to be entertained. They are as audience and brand safe as you can get, and this careful weft and weave of issues again has its own downsides, but generally speaking, it works. And it's why people appreciate this entertainment-focused side to them a lot. And another reason why this community trust is so massive is because of not just their content, but their engagement with the fans as well. Hololive has this way of engaging with their JP and EN fan bases, where they encourage fan works, uplift communities, and generally involve their fans in very fun stuff. Holo Indie has become a thing, a program where game developers who made fan games of Hololive can actually monetize their passion projects and be officially supported by the company. Although their processes are still very Japanese, they're taking the steps to actually break new ground and reward people for participating in the community. The last reason, though, is talent treatment and management. Before I say anything regarding this matter, I think I'm going to get burned by a few die-hard Holo fans here. when I say that there is a fair bit of truth whenever someone says that the Nijisanji contract is something of a Japanese industry-wide problem. Like I said, even if I shout on the Nijisanji contract a lot, I think Hololive's contract is only slightly better. It most likely is not as glamorous and totally perfect as a lot of starry-eyed, post-tinted praises that a lot of fans
If that was the case, why would they have contract issues if they were playing a buku bucks?
give it. People still struggle in there. Goals and potential
And
desires
Magni and Vesper are some cool ass motherfuckers.
still get rejected. Dreams can sometimes be denied. But despite that, they're still arguably the best in terms of the opportunities and management they do for their talents, just due to the sheer clout and power they receive compared to literally every single agency. At the very least, they seem to treat their talents better. They get to own their play buttons and own their achievement, able to fulfill their performative dreams if they have it. The sheer number of
Without
opportunities
ass.
you'll get if your vision and content aligns with that of Hololive will be absolutely massive. It's actually undisputedly the best in the entire VTubing space currently if you're not big already. And that is because they focus on quality over quantity, making sure to choose and nurture the fitting talents that they find rather than rapid mass hiring talents and treating them like products to be pumped out from a factory.
True.
It's hard not to compare Hololive with other VTuber agencies such as their rival Nijisanji, because this video's premise requires comparison, and studying this industry requires number ending and comparisons as well. And quite frankly, the reason Hololive stands out and why they are the golden standard is because the standard is not that high.
For real. It's
Everyone
really
else
not.
just kinda sucks or
It's
can't
really
offer
not,
the same
bro.
things they can.
It's really
the
not.
VTubing sphere in general kinda sucks when it comes to treating their talents aside from a few key notable agencies. Majorly speaking,
Bro, that's some real ass shit for him to say that too. That is some real shit, bro. Bro got my sub back, bro. That's some real ass shit to say. Because I know a lot of motherfuckers, all they watch is VTubing. So this is all they know. Like, bro, there is some legitimate better shit out here than some of these, like a lot of these corporations fucking suck compared to a lot of other ones in different types of media.
everyone else treats their talents
Y'all
the
missing
same
out.
way.
Yo, go check out the beatbox community. That shit's pretty fire. Go check it out.
That is why, while it's a major achievement and a point of praise to call Hololive the golden standard,
out to
they
the
shouldn't
beatbox
be
community.
the golden standard. I think there should be something better than that. I think the contractual terms should be better. I think agencies should step out of the traditional Japanese standards and go for something that's a bit more, well, favorable for the talents. Flexibility, better contractual rates, more avenues to make and monetize more content, a better balance of freedom and protective restrictions, better customizability, among many other things. I think it's not idealistic to wish for these things to exist. Of course, I think in the future, a lot of other agencies are going to adopt genuinely great changes to stand out from current competitors.
We'll see.
So while I think it's only a matter of time until things get better, especially for newer agencies, I think some of these established agencies should start improving themselves. Imposter syndrome is really big and common here in the VTubing scene. People often don't think they deserve the success that they have, and if some people get into an agency, they pin the entire reason of their success to the agency itself. And what
It's not necessarily true, right? Like they're the ones that scouted you. Well, I mean, I don't really even really know. Like a lot of them, of course, are talented. Excuse me. A lot of them are talented, right? So, of course, whenever they do get inside this big company, they do get a lot of eyes on them. They're bound to keep the eyes on them because they are talented. So it's like, yeah, did you get famous because you joined an org? Yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean you wouldn't have gotten famous if you still did it on your own, which is why I really respect people that jump into the org and then they jump out, you know, just to get that taste, see what it's like, and then they do it on their own. I always like those type of people.
While that's true
You don't
for a
need no
significant
company to
part,
back you
it's
for
not
nothing.
entirely the case. One might need an agency to be recognized and to succeed, but an agency also needs great talent to be
Yeah,
recognized and to
exactly.
succeed themselves.
Exactly.
It's valid to be grateful to the agency.
Like, congratulations, bro. You know, you a star in the NBA, but nobody knows who your team is. Congratulations.
that you belong to or have helped
You
you
the big
and you
fish
wanting
in
to
the
repay
little
them.
pond,
But
and not the big
one
fish in
needs
the
to
big
give a little
pond.
credit to themselves, have a little self-respect, know and recognize your worth, because the fact of the matter is, these agencies, these companies calling their internal environment family or friends and lulling you into it, they don't mean that. It's crazy. how little an individual VTuber matters when it comes to a termination or a graduation from an agency, how, in most cases, VTubers can feel as if they are not as important or valued as they thought they were. Agencies really only scramble when a big money-making talent leaves, but most people are not in that position. Most people are not in that top percentile of being even fortunate enough to be favored. So if most agencies don't see your worth,
I watch
that's
them
gonna
so
have to be
much. It's
something
like
you recognize for
I
yourself.
forget about Mr.
Of course, what I say here is not a universal truth. It depends on certain circumstances, on your financial well-being, your needs and
True.
wants, your goal,
True.
your current relationship with the agency. One might
True.
think it's easy for me to say what I am saying
True.
right now, and I understand that, but at the very least, take some pride in yourself and your work. Learn to request and demand better, haggle,
Damn
negotiate.
right.
Your
Yep.
achievement is not
Pull your dick out. Next time you in the meeting with them and they say, hey, we didn't say you could stream that game. You say, fuck you. I stream what I want when I want to. And then you get terminated. Don't listen to me.
all theirs. Even if they gave you the platform, it's yours. You put in the hours, you learned to entertain, you navigated the industry. Your skills got you noticed, you got yourself to where you are now.
Yep.
Your
Let your
relationship
nuts
with an
hang.
agency
That's what we
is
call it back in the
ultimately
day.
transactional.
Let your nuts hang.
And that is going to be where it all and how it all boils
Let your
down to in
motherfucking
moments
nuts
that
hang.
matter.
Yep.
And I think that's
Real
really
shit.
my last and strongest message for this video.
Dub.
Never, ever
Give up.
treat any company
Oh.
and agency as if they're your friend or family.
Oh, that true.
Because
That too.
corpos are your friends until one day
They're not.
they aren't.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. Well, let's keep it 100. I was gonna end the video immediately, but y'all gotta remember this in general when it comes to like the internet as well. When it comes to like YouTubers and like everything, it's not just corpos. So like the Twitch streamers and everybody, like everybody cool with you till they not. So remember that whenever you coming up, whenever you got a huge new video or whatever, eventually, some people not gonna want to collab no more, and it's gonna be crazy. Some people feelings gonna get hurt, but that is the entertainment industry as it is. Anyways, I'll see you boys, my boys, and the ladies too. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.